The one everybody's been waiting for here on Missouri Valley Conference Media Day. It's the head ball coach for the Indiana State Sycamores, Greg Lansing. Coach, I know you always look forward to coming to Media Day, mostly not just because you get to talk to me, but it's all the coaches throughout the league. The respect level you have for each of these coaches and why today is really kind of a family reunion of some sorts.
It is, and a big reason I like coming here is to see Doug Elgin. I know he was front row and center at the Taylor Swift concert last night, so I didn't get to talk to him as much as I'd like. But, yeah, a lot of guys in this league are friends, and that being said, you want to beat their brains out when you're playing them and when you cross the lines. But this has always been and always will be a well-run league, a league that's as good as any basketball league in the country, and it's always been well coached. These guys do a great job, and it's not just the head coaches. The assistants do a great job of recruiting good guys, getting them better, and then preparing them to win.
I felt what was great about a year ago at this time was maybe nationally there was concern about how the Valley would rebound in terms of losing such a power school. But you guys internally as coaches were not worried at all. You knew exactly what was coming. Maybe not a Final Four run by a team like Loyola. But even then, that was a team last year. You told me, Luke, they were good. But there were a lot of teams in this league that feel if they get a shot at that tournament, they could make a run, you being one of them. What is it about this basketball league that no matter who's a part of it, that basketball league can never be taken away from this league?
Yeah, Loyola was a new addition. Look what they did. There's no question. I personally hated losing Wichita and hated losing Creighton because I loved going to those places and those environments and playing those people. But many years ago, Doug Elgin told the coaches and told the administrations, we have to up our level. We can't be losing those guys. We have to do more on and off the floor, whether it would be with budgets or whether it be with facilities, and everybody's done that in this league. They really have, and I'm excited with our new administration, Dr. Curtis and Sherrard. They know we haven't been where we need to be, and that's going to change across the board. But this league this year is loaded. I think there's a lot of teams that could win games in the postseason, and we hope we're one of them.
Let's talk about your group. I know we've been at your team workouts and have chatted over the summer, so it's not like we've been away for that long. But what makes you most eager to see your group hit the floor next week for official team practice?
I like being around them. I like being around them. The worst part of my year is when they're at home, in May. So being around them, we have them for 8 weeks, 4 hours a day on the floor. So there isn't really an off season. And these are good basketball players. They're good guys. They want to work. You don't have to tell them, hey, you need to go work extra on your own. We got guys that live in that thing and are doing extra all the time. I think we've gotten a lot stronger. Our chemistry's good. Now we have to be a tough-minded team. And I put on the board yesterday, to win it takes sacrifice and it takes commitment. And Loyola showed us that last year. They're the most together team, one of the most together teams in the country, and look what the results there. So it takes hard work. That's why it takes sacrifice, it takes commitment, and that's not just by one guy or by one coach. That's everybody.
When you've been working with your guys and you've talked to your guys, this was what you mentioned to them actually at your team workout a week ago and you've been very upfront about it, even with the fans in terms of press conferences and interviews we do have. The past couple of years have not been acceptable. It's not what we want. It's not the standard that Indiana State basketball should be. Do you believe your group this year has bought into that? And I think it has shown because many of those guys, when they can't go home, they've been here over the summer.
I'm not so much unacceptable. It's not good enough. We had unprecedented success in the NCAA tournament, NITs, and consecutive winning seasons. So we've done it. We know it can be done, but we just haven't been good enough the last few years, and that starts with me. I've got to be better. Players have to be better all across the board. We have not handled adversity very well in the last couple of years. Our IQ has not been as good as it needs to be, and we're working on that. We're working that on a daily basis. And, again, it's not going to be easy. This league is loaded, and nobody's trying to get any worse. I promise you that. So we're going to be better. We're going to be exciting to watch, and we got to be back to being the program that we need to be.
How many sentences has Tyreek Key spoke today?
He has done remarkably well, and he knows it. He even said in one of the questions is his biggest thing he needs to work on is communication. We're trying to see if we can get him some speech credit or English credit for coming to this today. He's worked hard at it. You're asking him to do something he is not comfortable in doing, and he's done a great job. He's going to be tremendous for us on the floor, and he knows he needs to talk too.
I joke about that, but we all seen what Tyreek has brought in terms of just his physicality and his body and continuing to shape and get better. We've seen it on the floor, too, during the workouts this summer. How big of an aspect is it for him? And for you, maybe a better question for me to ask is, how do you as the head coach help him in trying to get that communication there? Because, look, there's always leaders that sometimes lead by example and aren't huge talkers, but the communication aspect of that is big.
It's huge for Tyreek, and Tyreek wants to do what you ask him to do, so we're in his ear about it. He has to step out of his comfort zone in some areas. It could be defending the basketball. It could be defense communication when he's away from the basketball. And he doesn't understand, even off the floor, when you're communication with your teammates, that's going to help you. You know, there's some it carries over to anything you do. Tyreek works as much as anybody I've ever been around. He is in the gym on his own. Always doing extra. He is a physical specimen. He's a very good basketball player, and being able to be a great teammate and bring his teammates with him is going to be something that will separate him.
The next step for Jordan Barnes is what?
Leading his team to a championship. No question about it. He's a winner. He's done it before. He's always been a winner, been a state champion. Played at a high level. He accomplished a lot. We probably relied on him a little bit too much last year at the end of possessions and at the end of games, but he was the one guy with the IQ we needed. I think he knows what he has around him. Probably maybe score a little less, be more of a true point guard this year, and he knows we have to get that defensive mentality back to where it needs to be, and it starts with him.
We've talked about raising the standard for this basketball program. I think it's fitting that this year will be the 40th year anniversary of the 1979 team, and we'll have more information on what we're going to do to honor that team throughout the year, throughout the coming weeks here on GoSycamores.com. But for you, I know you really appreciate being the head coach for this program. How more of a unique feeling, of a special feeling is it for you, knowing what this year means in 40 years of a team? You know, everyone, of course, brings up Larry Legend, and deservedly so, but that really was a special group that we'll get to know more over the next couple of months.
I mean, I love the program. I love Indiana State. I love the community. I have a great life. It's a blue-collar town. It's a hard-working town. I've always said I want us to be the community's team. Hey, celebrate our victories. Let's be upset when we lose because we don't want to do that. But being around guys that were 33-0 going into the championship game, I mean, Brad Miley, guys that are around, Bob Heatons, Carl Nix coming down. It's not just Larry Bird. That team, those guys are cult heroes to me. I mean, I consider it an honor to be the head coach of the program that they played in, and I want them to rejoice in this. That's why with this celebration of the 40-year, I want those guys to come back and be together, being able to be with their teammates, because it's stuff any guy always talks about, the great times you had with your team.
Coach, I know we'll have more with you next week when official practices start, but I can't let you go without bringing this up as well. You mentioned Doug Elgin being right in the center of the stage for Taylor Swift last night. That probably means you were there too?
No, I think him and Jack, I planned on getting together for dinner with them, but I think they had bigger things to do. A lot of traffic down here last night I was not prepared for, so it was not easy to get into. But this is always fun to get to. Not, you know, we know the other coaches. We have fun with it. Doug and Jack and Mike, and the administration here with the Valley is as good as it gets.
Coach, appreciate the time. Let's start practice next week.
Heck yeah, appreciate you, Luke.
Once again, that was head coach Greg Lansing. For more on Media Day, stay right here at GoSycamores.com.